Good morning, my friends. May 27th, Memorial Day. God bless America. And thank you for the service of veterans today. And of course, thank you for the sacrifice of all those who have moved on, either in the battlefield or away from the battlefield. But anyway, give you a little update today on the potatoes. I dug them out today. I planted them. This half of the bed I planted on March 9th. So it's almost 12 weeks. And I dug them out because the plants were all leaning against the ground. They had fallen. We had some storms, and then I had the dog come in there and dig them out, and it's a big mess. So the plants weren't doing that great anymore. So I decided to take them out, and this is what I got. So it's not too bad. I'm guessing it's about 15 pounds of potatoes out of an 8x4 bed, or out of a 4x4 square piece. Basically, just what you see right now. The other half of the bed, this is an 8x4. The other half of the bed still remains planted, and these are not looking so bad. They're still standing up. They're starting to flower. You can see some of the flowers here. And I will probably be digging out these in about 30 to 45 days, depending on how long it takes me to eat these potatoes here, because I don't eat that many potatoes. But anyway, I thought I'd share this little harvest video. There's probably a couple more buried in there. I'll give you the pros and cons of growing potatoes in containers versus the ground. I've grown them both ways. I'll tell you, growing potatoes in containers yields a lot less potatoes than growing them on the ground, at least for me. That's the downside to growing them in containers. They dry up a lot easier, and that affects the tubers. You gotta basically work a little harder for potatoes in containers. It's a little more work because you gotta always be on top of them, make sure they don't dry out. In the ground's a little more forgiving. It retains soil moisture better. So these basic potatoes, I planted them. I really didn't do anything. I didn't fertilize them. Did not do anything to these potatoes. Perhaps if I had fertilized them early on, I would have gotten a bigger yield. Most likely, yes, but I didn't, and that's what I got. So now one of the benefits of growing them in containers is that when harvest time comes around, you just dump the container to a wheelbarrow, and it's very easy to get the potatoes out. Here I had to dig them out with a pitchfork, and there's probably some left in the ground there that I didn't catch. You're not going to catch them all unless you empty completely the bed. I'm not going to do that. So that's the pro of growing them in containers. The other pro about growing them in containers is that as you see the plants die, you can always just empty one container and leave the other ones in the containers, and just use those potatoes in the container, the one you emptied out. Digging out one plant here alone, it's a little more difficult because you'll be disturbing other plants, other tubers, when you put in the pitchfork. I guess you can still put your hand in there and dig out a couple potatoes for the day that you're going to use them. But those are the pros and cons that I see mostly. I think I like growing them better in the soil because just it's a lot less work, and I'm a little bit hands off with my garden. I don't really spend too much time here. So your call. There's pros and cons to everything. Anyway, this other patch of potatoes here, like I said, I'm gonna take out in about 30 to 45 days more. These went in a month later, exactly a month later, and they're doing okay. They're looking good. I may put a little fertilizer in them just to see if I can do a little better production out of this one. I'm not sure. And on this bed, I am going to maybe plant here either more potatoes, sweet potatoes, or maybe some butternut squash. It's a little late in the season, but this is Texas and we get a lot of sun. Now, my only concern about that is that this tree that's facing east right there. So this tree is casting a shade in the morning sun. So I think that also affected the potatoes a little bit. These are doing obviously a lot better because they get a little more sun. So I'm still not fully decided what I'm gonna do with this empty patch here, but I'll put something in here. I mean, whatever grows is better than nothing. Uh, I'll probably just put my sweet potatoes in here, or maybe some butternut squash. Butternut squash is a late winter squash. It takes a long time to grow, but it's not bad. And when July and August rolls around, believe me, the plants appreciate a little shade because it is brutal. So, anyway, folks, I won't waste any more of your time. Until next time, bye bye.